Hi, popcorn junkies. There aren't many trailers out at the moment, are there? There are not many trailers. Not coming out as thick and fast. I wonder if this is still the backside of COVID and stuff in development doesn't seem to be moving too quickly. Anyway, there are lots of films based on computer games, things like Mario Brothers, things like The Last of Us, which isn't a film, but it's a series, isn't it? So this is a trailer coming from Apple TV. And it's called Tetris. Who remembers Tetris? Now, was Tetris a game? Is Tetris something you can still play? I presume it is. Can you play it on your iPhones? I seem to remember playing it on a BlackBerry that I had years ago. I used to sit there for ages of an evening, just kind of making various shapes, land, and then you had the L-shaped land, and then you had the T-shaped land, and then it got faster and faster. And then once you got them all across, it would kind of click out and click out and click out. Anyway, it was incredibly addictive, and it was, viral, I guess, when it first came out. As with everything, there is a backstory to Tetris, and Apple TV are making a film which stars Taron Egerton. What do we think of Taron Egerton? Okay, I didn't like films like Eddie the Eagle and all that kind of stuff. I liked him in Rocket Man, but I can't say I was entirely convinced with the first episode of Blackbird on Apple TV. I can't say I liked him in The Kingsman. There's something about it. Something seems to have crept into his performances where I just find him a bit, a bit stuffed or a bit generic or a bit one note. Anyway, doesn't help when they chuck ridiculous wigs at him and things like that. Anyway, so this stars Taron Egerton. I think Toby Jones is in there. And I believe this is the true story of how the intellectual property rights of the game Tetris, I think they had to be smuggled out of Russia. Was it developed in Russia? Was it I think it might have some sort of Cold War parallel sort of thing going on with it. So a bit of thriller, a bit of espionage, a bit spy, a bit Iron Curtain, behind the Iron Curtain, all that kind of stuff, and all pivoting around a game where you make different shapes land and sort of slot into each other. So Tetris, I must admit, when I saw this land the other day, I thought, I wonder if this is about the game Tetris or whether they're using the word Tetris as a metaphor for a really tricky sort of spy caper. It sounds like it's both. So without further ado, let's check it out. And as I say, I want to like Taron Egerton more in his performances, then I end up liking him. I always feel like something falls short for me. I don't know what it is. I mean, he's a lovely guy, and when we went to the Rocket Man premiere, Maddie accidentally walked into him and nearly knocked him over, which was kind of funny. So let's check it out.
Tetris?
Tetris.
Tetris. Tetris.
Tetris.
It's the perfect game.
It's the perfect game.
It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. I played for 5 minutes. I still see falling blocks in my dreams. It's poetry, art, and math all working in magical synchronicity. It's the perfect game. Tetris?
Tetris.
Tetris. Tetris.
Tetris. I don't get it.
It's a combination of tetra, Greek for four, and tennis.
Tennis.
The Russian inventor, he likes tennis.
This game isn't just addictive. It stays with you. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Hank, only 10 other people in the world have seen what you're about to see. It's called the Game Boy.
Package it with Tetris.
Can you guess the rights?
The Game
The Soviet
Boy.
Union had worldwide rights. Nothing gets out easily.
I'm gonna go to Moscow.
You're walking into a country that still considers America enemy numero uno.
Okie dokie.
You sure you don't have to talk to your wife about this first?
Pioneers have to bet the house to win.
But not literally.
Listen. Have you ever heard our apartment this quiet before?
This is the inventor of Tetris.
Your game is brilliant. I'm gonna make you a millionaire.
Mr. Hodges, have you ever negotiated with the Soviets?
We're here for Tetris.
We все здесь только ради денег.
What do you say? I don't speak Russian.
The most powerful man in communist party is watching you and your family.
Do you know where your husband is?
What the hell is going on?
The world is changing, and Soviet Union will not be left behind.
You want to play with the big boys? This is how the world works.
Where is my money?
This is insane.
We can't protect you.
Sometimes you gotta forget the rules. This is criminal.
Soviet Union is about to implode. They're lying. Everybody's lying.
The cavalry is coming.
We don't have time.
I have a plan.
Oh, come on. You guys are the kings of cliffhangers.
Not too bad.
Reminded of a couple of things there, guys. Game Boy! Nintendo Game Boy. I've got one somewhere, of course. That's where it came from first. Love it. I thought that looked original, different, innovative insofar as, you know, a story that I'm just surprised it was that elaborate and that complex. I mean, I don't know how much they've embellished for dramatic purposes, but Taron Egerton looked good in it. He was sort of camp, but convincingly American. Ben Miles in there. I didn't see Toby Jones. The whole Russian thing, an actor who looked so like Mikhail Gorbachev. I thought it was Mikhail Gorbachev, and I presume that the guy with the awful jet black wig was Robert Maxwell, perhaps editor of the Mirror or whatever. I really like that. I thought a really interesting way to re-examine or re-explore the whole Iron Curtain, fall of Russia, the West's kind of, you know, trying to liaise with the Russians and communism and what have you, wanting to make money from something, and obviously that being anathema in a sense to Russian society, though of course, as we know, it's not. So again, a sort of, what I like is that it will intercept all those themes. It will take us into the familiar territory, if you like, of the Cold War and all that kind of malarkey around the 80s, perestroika and all that kind of stuff, but it will do it in a sort of stealth-like fashion. It will take us there via this game, and of course you've got all that 80s stuff going on, the digitization of vehicles and stuff. I don't know whether they've just done that for the trailer. I was getting sort of Pixel vibes. Were you? You know, the Adam Sandler film, which I have to say was much more fun than a lot of the critics said. Camp, funny, a little bit like the recent Air trailer, but whereas that was about Nike Air Jordan trainers with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, this is another slice, if you like, of 80s commercial or corporate success. Lovely little kind of nods there towards the fact that when have you ever heard our apartment this quiet? Almost, you know, in a sense, the precursor to iPads and iPhones shutting our children up and occupying them all the time. Tetris really was one of those games where it sort of kept collapsing. I love the idea that Tetra is for, I guess the objects are made of four things, is that right? But also tennis. And of course there was that original game, wasn't there, which was plonk, plonk, pink, plonk, plonk, tennis. So tennis and Tetra, Tetris. Love it. I have to say, really enjoyed that. Looking forward to seeing it.